Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to scale to 100K per month consistently. If you're a coach or agency owner, this is especially for you. And I'm not going to be talking about some lead gen strategies or the funnel hacks. This is a structured strategy that I have implemented for my own business. And also while studying a lot of businesses who are making above millions a year, I've studied them, I've structured and learned a lot from them, and then I've implemented in my own business. And now I'm sharing that exactly with you. We all know that business is like a war. You have to fight for survival, you have to scale, and you have to strategize at different levels. And that actually requires a different version of you. Now, before we get to the video, let me introduce myself. My name is Jalal Khan, and I'm the founder of Clientsoul, where we help agencies and coaches scale to multiple seven figures using our infrastructures and strategies. Now, I've divided this video into 5 different phases, and each phase has different steps. You have to go step by step. You can't just go ahead randomly from one step to another step. You have to follow the pattern, because this is the beauty of it, and it gives you the results that you desire. Now, in the first step, we set up the war machinery. And by this, I mean that you look into your existing machinery, what you have got. If, for example, you are going to a war, you have to know exactly what you're fighting for. What are you doing? What are your people and what are your systems? And you look at everything you got. So the first thing in setting up the war machinery is actually your talent. You have to understand that team is really, really important. If you want to achieve and take on the biggest challenge, you need to have people who actually are capable of delivering you the results. If that's not the case, then you're not going to reach that position. You have to have a team which has integrity, which has the ability to be consistent and actually work harder than you. If you have that kind of team, you're well to go. Now, the next step is system. What system you got? What are the actual foundational structured inputs that you're giving to a system that actually deliver you the results? So if you have those systems, you're good to go. And then in the third phase, you have the processes. What are the rules and regulations that you have already set for your own organization, in which you combine the talent with the system and which drives your business without your input? If you're not in the business, you're not the bottleneck of the business, right? What we call mostly, because when I interact with people and the agencies, when they come to me and I diagnose their business, the first thing that I find is actually they are the bottleneck of their own business, right? They have some thoughts and beliefs in their head due to which their team and processes and systems are not actually delivering the resultant output. Why? Because they have some scary thoughts and beliefs and they believe they are true, right? So due to them, the business is not going ahead. So make sure you're not that person. You have to analyze yourself objectively first and foremost, and then you go ahead with the team, system, and a process. So once this war machinery is set up, then the next phase is mobilizing this war machinery. The first step in this is you have to generate attention at maximum level. You utilize the ads, emails, campaigns, everything that you do, DM outreach and everything that you do, because you have a strong team. They can do and deliver the work. Then you utilize each platform to generate as maximum attention for your offer as possible. Let me tell you this, because I already believe that you have the basic setup, for example, basic stuff like offer creation or funnels and all of this stuff. Because if you don't have that cleared, I don't think that you really deserve to watch this video, because this is for those people who have already set up and cleared up the basic foundations of, going ahead with a 10K agency. I've already made some videos on how to scale to 10K and how to scale to 50K. I'll link down those videos in the description so you can watch and set up the foundation for that. Now, back to the video. Now, once you utilize all the channels to generate maximum attention, then the second step is a converting mechanism. Do you have a process or a system, a combination of that and infrastructure, what we call? They actually convert those people, because you have to have a filtration mechanism. You can't just go ahead with every soldier to the battlefield and just fighting them, because if they're not trained, then you are going to lose. You're doomed to fail, right? You have to have the exact filtration mechanism which can filter out the clients from those who are not really needed, right? And we call this in marketing sense a funnel, right? They're filtering out different people. What we do in funnel, like we have different phases of audiences. The bottom 3%, is actually the people who are more like ready to buy in any point of time. And then we have a phase above, who are the people who are in consideration phase, right? They understand you, they know you, and they're watching you from, their angle, but they're not ready to buy it. They want to see exactly where you're heading. What are the trust factors in your business? And once you identify and clear all their doubts, then they just straightly come to the bottom 3% and they buy your service. So that's really, really essential. You have to have a converting mechanism in place that is converting people without your input at each stage. And the third phase, where mostly people stuck and why you can't scale to 100K per month, is because you came so far, you have the volume, and mostly people don't have it. But if you have the volume and you have made it to a converting mechanism, you are getting client. But here you're stuck in this third phase. Honestly, answer me this one question. Do you have a proper value ladder, which we call for example, if someone comes into your business, Do you know exactly where you want to place them in the next stage, in the next day? For example, you sold one offer to a client, and then if, for example, you deliver the services, then what happened after that? Do you lose the client? Because you have spent a lot of money on acquiring this one client. And then when it comes the time where you have to take the juice out of it, then there you stop. So you don't have any LTV, like a lot of business. I'm really concerned about the industry, because when I talk about people in my industry, like especially in the coaching and the agency space, they don't know about LTV. Like they don't know about how to calculate LTV and what's the lifetime value for customer. So if you don't know that and you are in that position, you need to properly identify and calculate your LTV and properly prepare action plan and offer for that. So once that's identified, you know exactly what's the pathway for the client in your business. And this is where you get the maximum out of your client. Now, once that's taken care of, the third phase is what we call on the front line. Now, this is the core of your business. And what happens here is that you, in the first, you provide exceptional services. You satisfy the client. What you have offered, you actually deliver in here, right? So you work with your team. You find out the ways and different means to actually deliver the service. You do great communication with the client. And once you satisfy the client, then what happens? The second step is that you retain the client. And the retention is actually the juice of a client. Because in the first month, it's not necessary that you will be profitable. You might come to a break even. But on the second month, you need to be profitable. And that's only possible if you retain the client to the second month. So that's really essential to deliver exceptional value on first month. So when you retain a client, what happens is that you increase the LTV of a client. And so the money that you get from a single client is unimaginably high. You can charge anything because you're retaining the person, right? And your cake, which is actually the cost of acquisition, is fixed because you spend certain amount of money to acquire this client. And now you are taking the money out of it because you have permission, legal permission to take the money out of the client by your offers. Now, you might be thinking we also go to Starbucks and we just buy a $4 coffee, right? And we think that, it's just a simple product that I buy. But recently they find out that a Starbucks LTV is $14,000. It's really unimaginable how high the amount is they're taking from each person. Now, it is actually the magic that happens when you know exactly what's the customer pathway, right? So once you're actually retaining the client and also delivering the value, then in that process, sometimes the team gets break off. So team management and the third step is really, really essential. You need to have a proper mechanism to manage the team, because there will be people who will be upset, there will be workload, there will be people who will have personal problems and they will have like a low compensation or something. You need to find out ways to actually monitor it, right? You have to have a system to actually talk to them in person. If you are not taking care of the team and you're not taking care of their personal needs, and they won't take care of your business and they will just consider it as just commodity and use it, then this is the stage where actually you try to focus on your team and try to make them as effective as possible. And in the fourth phase, we spy on the enemy. And what you do, we look into the enemy, in our case, the competitors. What are they doing? What are the strategic and tactical moves? What option are they utilizing? How are they looking into the market? Is there any gap that they are lagging behind? And what are the penetration points that you need to identify and go in that particular area where they're not addressing? And the market is actually in demand of that. So once you study all of this, you actually get to the point where you realize that this is the right time to go out into the market to capture this opportunity and defeat the enemy. So competitive analysis, we call it, is really important in this sense, because there will be some strategies that the competitor is already utilizing and they are giving results to your own client. And if you find those strategies and use it as it is or build your own one, then that actually works because people want them. You have to be driven by people's mind. So in the last phase, we are monitoring the war zone. So what happens is that you have set up the war machinery, you have mobilized everything, and now you are monitoring everything, because without it, this is not going to work. You are the leader of your business. So it means that you have to have a tracking mechanism at first place. You need to track everything, right? You strategize and you plan. The actual work is done by your team, right? So that's why that's important in the first place. So once you have the tracking mechanism, you know exactly what is done by each person. And then also you have to have a feedback mechanism where you can get feedback from the client, right? So you understand what is the quality of your service. And that's why you improve. So this is like the universal equation where you have the input and then you have the actual process and the output and then the feedback, right? So this equation continuously improves you. All the AI models are actually built on it. And then the important thing is the financial tracking, right? So what's your cash flow look like? How much money are you spending on marketing? What's your cake? What's your LTV? So once you identify all these parameters and actually track them, this is where you find out how much money are you going to invest in this system that you built. and how much are you going to take out of it, and how much is required for the scaling. So these are all the foundational systems and principles that you need to apply right now to scale to 100K per month. Now, you might be thinking, I haven't talked about any funnel or any strategy that I need, or haven't set up any ads, because that's not the work that we do, and that's not how you scale to 100K per month. You are doing that for so much, that's why you're not at 100K per month. This is a real evidence of it, right? So if you want to go ahead there, then these are the strategies that you need to apply right now, because it's really, really important. You're already lagging behind. It's, the time is going by and people are utilizing all these strategies. So if you're hungry for growth, apply these strategies. If you have any question, just write in the comment. I'll be there for you. I'll answer each of the comments. Also, I'm going to be uploading some great videos. So subscribe this channel and keep watching more content. Take care. Bye.